They thought speaking French was their armor. They whispered at the kitchen table, tossing careful looks my way like I was too young, too blind, too clueless to catch on. But I heard every word. Each one cut into me like a knife sliding between my ribs. They never meant for me to know, but I did. And 6 hours later, it was them screaming, not me. I had grown up believing in their love, thinking family meant safety. My parents were strict, yes, but I always thought it was because they cared. My father's silence, my mother's watchful eyes, I mistook it all for guidance instead of control. But love doesn't hide behind closed doors, plotting in secret. Love doesn't turn a language into a weapon. At first, it was just little things, French conversations at night, short bursts of sentences over breakfast. Ella, she must not know. I brushed it off, told myself maybe they were reminiscing, maybe they wanted privacy. Then I caught the way they stared too long, making sure I wasn't catching on. That's when I leaned in, sharpened my ears, slowed my breathing, and listened. And what I heard hollowed me out. They weren't talking about me as their daughter. They were talking about me as a liability. Money, paperwork, my name scrawled where it shouldn't have been, decisions made behind my back, bank accounts drained under my nose. And the worst part? They laughed about it, like I was too dumb to notice, too trusting to ever question them. My parents, my own blood. That night, I didn't shout. I didn't confront them. What would have been the point? Their betrayal was too deep for words, so I acted. I went to my room, shut the door, opened my laptop. Their weapon was French, mine was silence. I had already taught myself how to trace money, already wondered about the missing funds. That night, the pieces clicked, offshore transfers, hidden withdrawals, my name tied to debts I never made. They weren't protecting me. They were setting me up to take the fall. So I turned their secret into my weapon. By midnight, I had everything copied. Bank statements, emails, even voice notes my father sent my mother, smug enough to mix French with English. Evidence enough to burn them down. I didn't call the cops, not yet, that would have been too kind. Instead, I logged into the accounts they thought I'd never find. I changed passwords, redirected money, froze whatever I couldn't move. Every cent they stole under my name, I took back. And then I did something even better. I sent everything to their business partners, their closest friends, even my uncle in Lyon who despised them. Every French whisper translated into plain English, attached to receipts and proof. By 3 a.m, I hit send. By 9, their world was in flames. The first call came from my mother, a shriek instead of a greeting. "What did you do?" I let her scream. Her rage was the sweetest confirmation. Then my father's number lit up my phone. He didn't shout. He begged, quiet, desperate. A man who built his empire on power now reduced to pleading with his own daughter. And me? I didn't raise my voice. "You thought I didn't understand," I told him. But I understood everything. The line went dead. Later that day, I walked into the kitchen, the same place it had started. Same table, same chairs, but now the silence belonged to them. They looked at me like I was a stranger. In a way, I was. The obedient child was gone. My father finally asked, "Why?" His voice cracked. "Because you spoke like I wasn't your daughter," I answered, so I stopped being one. My mother tried to reach for me, but I pulled away. That touch no longer held power. They had bet everything on my ignorance and lost it all to my understanding. The fallout spread fast. Deals collapsed, partners walked, their reputation was shredded. Even the family name they prized so much became a curse, spit on by the very people who once envied it. They wanted silence. I gave them exposure. They wanted me powerless. I showed them I'd been watching all along, and when their house of cards crumbled, I didn't stay in the rubble with them. I walked away. Months later, they still call, sometimes begging, sometimes raging, always trying to drag me back into their cycle. I never answer, because I learned something important at that kitchen table. Betrayal doesn't need a showdown, it needs precision. I listened, I understood, I waited, and when I struck clean. Their French words still echo in my head sometimes. She must not know, but I knew, and that was their undoing. They thought their secret language was power. They were wrong. It was mine.